galaxy, economic issue, regional, international, spiritual issues too, agricultural, environmental, and trending to subject matter. We fear none, we back down. Freedom of speech is enshrined in the land. God, we freedom, jealous and they in Cuba, Russians and Chinese and lucky like we. Right now, North Korea wish they had it too. Most of the Caribbean lucky like we. Studio Galaxy Day for you and me. Galaxy Equalizer ready like Freddy, and Studio Galaxy 473 in Confero. We freedom of speech is sacrosanct. Make use of it. Let no one challenge. Blow your shell, beat your drum, tell others. Like and share, subscribe and discuss it too. Let the world know Studio Galaxy is around. Galaxy in Confero, hope you know. 473 standing strong is yours, you know. The medium, an opportunity for you. Though you shall be to like
welcome to our program, Studio Galaxy Phone Conference, and you are the equalizers. Galaxy Equalizer lit. We are placed for lateness. Even at an early age. So this is we to start that topic. We look at Grenada. We are showing businesses don't friend. We have cultural shift. We need this money. God, Moses, leading these guys. When God sent Moses will get help because Joshua, farmer, teaching them that business.
There's an issue, and you know why they mention some in your intro. You know, for any society role, Mr. Pierre, your Bible, you don't know it, you know. Is Joshua.
473 standing strong is yours, you know. The medium an opportunity for you. Make your contribution, let them know.
Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. Welcome to our program. This morning we're on Studio Galaxy 473. And we apologize. We had a late start and then we had a technical challenge. And we hope that we have it correct now. And you are with the Galaxy Equalizers. And we always provoke discussion. And we welcome, highly appreciate participation and contribution. The topic this morning is, shouldn't families provide capital for their children to enter business, and even at the earliest age possible, to get involved to enter business? We are concerned because particularly in Grenada, we find a middle class that has shrunken and is shrinking fast. We observe that the people who are in business, their children are not involved. And a lot of our young people, where the business world is concerned, is as if they're on the sea in a boat without engine, without oar, and without sail, hoping to end up somewhere. Sometimes we believe that in the major races, we seem to be way back where business and wealth is concerned. That's the reason for the topic. Shouldn't families provide capital for the children to enter business as early as possible. And with me this morning, as usual, is Joshua. Joshua is a very important symbol, a very important name. Because when God sent out Moses to Egypt, he sent Joshua with him. Moses prayed, he can't go alone. He said he can talk, he started to make excuse. So they sent Joshua. Joshua, shouldn't families provide capital for these children they have there to enter business as early as possible?
The answer emphatically is a yes, that we should be doing that. I mean, the real growth for any country, any economy, is the private sector. And, the next generation are really the most important generation, because they are the ones that we're looking towards getting, innovation from. We're looking for new ideas, etc. So for us to really move forward and develop, our young people have to be supported and have to be given direction in terms of business. One of the cultures that I saw, which was very successful in business, was the Asian community in London. They became the shopkeepers of Britain, and their children and themselves were in the shop. The children, when they first got to Britain, could barely speak English. But in little to no time whatsoever, these very children were speaking great English, their mathematics were great, their physics were great, and the sciences, they were very good at the sciences. And they would take over and run the business in little to no time whatsoever. So they already had the capital investment in the business. They had that kind of culture of business success. Everything that they needed to take over the reins was already there. Running the business, they didn't have to go and train, because they've been training for the past 10, 15 years with their parents to run the business. So, Grenadian young people being supported by whoever, family, parents, etc., being given the start is critical. Now, the other bit that needs to be done as well, the school plays a very, very important role in terms of business, in terms of agriculture. My passion is for agriculture business, be it like just growing and selling or secondary processing. So I think a collaboration between the parents, some people might argue with me, just for the parents who have money themselves, but Mr. P always argue farmers are not poor. So let's assume that the money is there, 1,000, 2,000. We're not talking about big money. We're talking about little startups. We always mention seasoning, but it doesn't have to stick to seasoning. For example, I bought on Thursday, I bought 100 lettuces, and I bought it from a young man who lives with his father. And they kept asking me about kind of lettuce and whatever. And finally I said, okay, I'll take your lettuce when it grows. So the farmer, the father helped the son, as the son was doing very little to nothing, to grow the lettuce. And on Thursday morning, I took 100 from them. This Saturday morning, on my way up to the program, I paid them, and they were very, very happy. So, growing something like making a start, something like lettuce, they grew it on beds. So I don't know. I think the beds were existing that was there. So that's just a little example that it doesn't have to be big, and it doesn't have to be complicated, and it doesn't have to be, in a sense, really, you need so much money. to start off. I'm not sure how much money they needed to start off, but as we're talking about the subject this morning, I'm reminded little practical things like that. We've always talked on this program about small things like the seasoning, and I believe in the seasoning. I mean, Mr. Pierre often says that we don't eat, food, we eat seasoning, because we season this kind of food so much and we cook it for so long. It's seasoning that we actually eat and not food. So there is a great demand for seasoning, and as many people will tell you, fresh seasoning, you can't beat it. So there's a real market, existing market for that. Now, one of the problems farmers often have, or small farmers, is the marketing aspect, but that's not difficult. You could create a marketing component. If there's 3 or 4 of you, you can designate it. One person will be buying, and that person will sell on the product. So you have the commitment from that person, they would buy, and that person has to be prepared that sometimes, when they buy, there's not going to be any big profit, but the other weeks they're going to make lots of profit, which will subsidize the time when they can't make a profit in a certain week. So that has to be borne in mind. But we have to transfer that wealth of knowledge that's in the more mature people to the younger people as soon and as early as we can, because the young people have the energy, the drive, the enthusiasm, being like the loan provider, maybe $300, $500, maybe up to $5,000 or $2,000. If you can afford it, it's a great way to educate your family, your children, and it doesn't have to be, sons and daughters. It could be nephews and extended family. And there's no better education than these practical education, because I think what will motivate the young people more than anything is the fact that at the end of 6 weeks they've got something coming in. I mean, this morning, that young man who gave me the lettuce had $300 in his hand for 100 lettuce. So, and the smile was big. But we have to, I'm going to spend a couple of minutes. We have to integrate things. So schools have to kind of support these kinds of initiatives. They have to provide places where the young people can grow and practice their business acumen in terms of the school. School often have grounds. And then, at a national level, we have to have small business centers in our major towns. The small business center is something that the major countries already have. So you could go into a business center, and essentially everything within that business center for developing a business plan, developing your proposal, developing presentation skills, and all those things. All of that is provided as an incentive for young people. I remember attending such centers, and it was wonderful because you had the computer in front of you. You didn't have to pay for internet. You had experienced people in that center who would help you develop your business plan, etc. So you create a culture, that is going to serve your society, that's going to develop your society. You may have heard me talk in the past that we're an extraction economy. We're not designed really to succeed. So these are the simple way that we could transform our society by doing things that will make us successful and make us succeed. It might be small, but it's a start. I've always maintain this kind of view that I have, which is that we've not really shown the leadership that we needed in terms of Grenada, because we've taken on a colonial system and essentially just, continue it. So this little initiative, this changing of attitude, this awareness building, this kind of money circulation and money growing, I think it's absolutely a wonderful idea to be backing, young people by providing the financial support for them. I happen to back a number of businesses, individuals, etc., with small amount as well, and they do very well, and that gives you the opportunity to start talking to them about break even, about cash flow, etc. So imagine preparing your young children with this kind of knowledge. I mean, they will just excel by the time they go on to college or they go on to university, because they would have the basics of what the higher institution.
They have the practical.
They'll have the practical.
Shouldn't families provide capital for these children and them they have?
Yeah.
We have a growing, maybe about 30% of Grenadians living in poverty.
Yeah.
We have a lot of Grenadians playing rich and the poor.
Yeah.
And we are not seeing them in the business world.
Yeah.
In yesteryear, in most communities, you might have known 5 or 6, 10 people you consider wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, when you're looking for those who are wealthy, the poor, they may have a car, they can't buy gas.
Mm-hmm.
You see them,
Mm-hmm.
and you realize that they definitely need. So the question is a question of culture.
Uh-huh.
We have a culture, maybe some parents waiting to die.
Yeah.
So the children would inherit what they have.
Yeah,
And the parents don't want to die, so they're not dying. And the children watching the parents become a liability. Because the children want the parents to die.
Yeah.
So the parent is 70 years.
Uh-huh.
And the child is 59. and later on, the children dying. And they're angry because they die, they're dead. And the parents not dying to live what they have for them. So maybe we have to have shock therapy.
Mm-hmm.
Where we start to encourage people
Yeah.
to the money you're planning to leave for your children when you're dead.
Mm-hmm.
Start to encourage your children to enter a business so they will make more money than you.
Yes.
So they may not want you to die so quick again.
Yeah.
Joshua,
Yeah.
you're fine with me.
Well, I think culture is not static. I think culture changes, and this is one aspect of our culture we need to change. And I think if the culture doesn't change, I have seen government intervene to change the culture. For example, I talk about Britain a lot because I lived a lot of years in Britain as well as other countries. But what Britain did was they have something they call debt duties. Now, if you have assets, $500,000 or a couple $100,000, and you died and you have that asset to pass on, it would be taxed 40%. But if you pass it on before you died, there's no tax. So that was how social engineering actually helps in terms of culture. And by doing that, the party that advocated that won the election that year, because property prices had skyrocketed in Britain, and therefore people were facing tax liabilities of $200,000-300,000 if you lived in London.
So obviously something have to be done. Sometimes we waiting on the government. And the government perhaps lack the sense, the will, the manhood, the balls, the guts. You know what? But what you find happening in Grenada, that we do not have serious business. The businesses in Grenada, a lot of them are family business, and they're not aggressive. And by the time the original individual become incapacitated or reach an age, the business crash.
Yeah.
Because the offsprings, the children, they're waiting for the inheritance.
Yeah.
So maybe we need to change that culture. And where parents now start to encourage children at a very early age to start business.
Yeah.
It may not cost much for your child to start business. And if that is part of a culture, so today we're going to speak about that. We're speaking about agriculture. We're going to make some suggestions on what kind of business a child could start while under the parents' guidance, supervision, capital and money. And we are saying a lot of parents don't poor. They're just not using money for investment. When I look at some of the money people spend on graduation, sometimes the father dressed in red and white, the woman dressed in white and red. They outdress the children. Thousands of dollars. And the child is mediocre.
Yeah.
We practically praising and applauding mediocrity.
Yeah.
So that's why I always advance the it's not how much money that come in your pocket. It's what you do with the money that come in your pocket. And should we redirect energy? Because that is what young people have, you know.
Yeah.
Plenty energy.
And innovation and trying things, doing things different. You know, so that creativity goes on. But also the Bible talks about, you know, the need to invest. I know there's a story about the 3 talent or something like that.
Yes.
You know, where, you know.
That's not a go to church, boy.
Yeah, but
you want to give the most, you double it. You want to give, whether it's 3 talents, 5 talents, and 1 talent, if we use that, he made more. And the one he gave one, he said, Master, I know he's a strict man. I know you harvest where you don't reap, where you don't sow. You reap where you don't sow. So I buried your money for your talents. Here is it. And the master said, you lazy, wicked man. You know that I reap where I don't sow. You accuse the master of a thief, you know. But instead of you put my money in the bank where you could attract interest. And in Grenada here, it's practically part of our culture to see progressive people as wicked and evil. They don't help nobody. They mean.
Yeah.
It's a culture. Very rare. And if it started, it's in recent time. That you have a career day in the school and they invite a businessman or a farmer. Well, when they say a businessman, they might refer to Huggins and Hubbard. But these other people, they don't invite them. So our children want to be nurse. They want to be police. As soon as you tell a child you want to be a police, you're arresting people. They want to be doctors. They want to be lawyers. They don't want to be farmers. They don't want to be shopkeepers. They don't want to be businessmen. So Joshua, definitely something wrong with culture.
Yeah, well, culture is not static, as I've said before. Culture changes and culture evolves, you know. And I'll give you an example of that. It was quite acceptable, you know, maybe 20 years ago or 25 years ago, to kind of abuse your wife or your spouse, and you hear people talking nonsense about she needs a good slap or something like that. These days, that kind of talk is rarely ever tolerated. So culture changes, and as time goes on, we have to change the culture whereby we move to that positive culture we all want, but at the same time we continue to kind of practice negativity. And in order to succeed in terms of business, one of the things that's very difficult to understand is that you learn from making mistakes, and your journey in terms of becoming successful, it's a journey that has many failures in it, and those failures bring you closer to the success. But if you're going to kind of run down the young person and say, oh, good look, I'll give you that, you waste my money, this and that, and all the rest of it, it defeats what we're trying to do, because part of getting it right is sometimes getting it wrong. I remember struggling with math, and I got it wrong several times, but eventually I grasp it, and I eventually get it right. So
obviously, that would be high risk capital. A parent investing in children in business is high risk.
Yeah.
Because we said one of the biggest things children have is energy. Plenty energy.
Yeah.
And by getting them to invest in business, you're trying to redirect the energy you have,
and
while you're able to give them support.
Yeah, and I think, whilst I was talking, I was thinking about the flowers, Anthurium lily, and I was thinking you don't have to grow a field, you can kind of grow 5 or 6.
Just for the neighborhood.
Yeah, and the money you make from that, next time you're going 10, next time you're going 20, because these are not really complex things to do, and usually the raw materials are around you. You could go around your community and collect some coconut, husk or whatever to do the growing. Nobody's gonna begrudge you taking a little water and kind of watering them. So, in many ways, you're not paying a rent at home. You're not
paying rent. Parents provide the capital, the support, and sometimes they even help you with the physical help if you're smart.
Yeah, they do.
And the parents know is a high risk. You say venture capital? High risk capital.
High risk venture.
High risk venture that you're in. Because here now your son come up with an idea to have a business. What amount of money you believe that a parent in Grenada would prepare to put up or to lose or to risk for young people entering business?
Yeah, I mean, one of the things, the kind of low, I consider it a bit low risk. One of the things that young people really could do, and traditionally the culture used to support, I remember rebelling against it, and that's looking after an animal. I had to go and tie the goat in the morning, so I didn't really like that, And the grass was cold when it rained and wetted my foot. And I remember talking to some of my family about it, and I said, "You just needed a pair of boots." I said, "Well, at the time, I didn't know that." So, but at my old age now, I bought 2 goats. I think about. Probably about 3 months ago, and I'm not youngsters. I got them at a good price. I think, the prices for these animals are going up, but $300, you could get a good deal. Or get a small goat and then raise it, and these are just practical things that the culture used to do that I think needs retaining, because I think it's a good thing. Imagine a young person having like 2 or 3 animals they're looking after. Christmas come, they sell one, they still have 2, and sometimes the animal will kind of have babies, etc. They have their money, etc. But it teaches a certain culture, certain discipline, and also it shows you that work is rewarding, and it disciplines you. I mean, throughout my life, I've never been really that disciplined, and I think if I looked after the goat, how I would have been more disciplined. They used to
then you come like the goat. Goat is not very disciplined, They should give you a sheep. Yeah. If you don't not discipline, then they give you a goat. So now you come like the goat.
Yeah.
I met some farmers rearing goats, and I always had fun with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I have 30-something goats. You have 17 males.
Mm-hmm.
I say, what happened? You believe you'll come hot as this round? Say, no, you have to convert some of these males to money.
Yeah.
You have too much males. And then you have inbreeding. But Joshua, I think, we want to be as practical as possible. About how much? Yes, I think it said $500 to $5,000.
Yeah, I think it's not unreasonable, to start off. Sometimes as little as $100, but I think if we say we invest in terms of our children education up to $500, when they get older up to $5,000, I don't think that's unreasonable if you have it sitting in the bank. We really don't have any.
Because you have some big children in school,
Yeah.
I believe our children go into school too much. They tend to like school so much they don't want to leave.
Yeah.
When they leave
Yeah.
primary school at 10, 12, they go in secondary school and leave at 16, 18.
Yeah.
Government make more school, instead of cutting down the age of school.
Yeah.
And then they go to national college and they say they want something behind their name now.
Yeah.
So a woman, not a woman, a man and a woman, 35 years, she's still to school. She's unproductive.
Yeah.
She not thinking about making more, getting married and making children. She don't have a business. She want to go to school still. She's 35 years.
Yeah.
So we want to interrupt this lazy culture. We want to provoke discussion among the culture. So what are some of the business of head you believe a young child in school or a child, because when we speak about children, we have to speak about under 20.
Yeah.
After that time to go and vote and make children and provide capital for your children for themselves.
Yeah, I think like children who are like 13 to 17, 18, I think, you're preparing them for a career. So whatever they're doing and whatever you invest in, whether it's like, 3,000 or 5,000, I think you've already started them on the road to employment, self-employment, and making a contribution to the economy. And as we've said on various programs, the smaller children, there's a whole market available for seasoning. The older children who have evolved, they're probably into kind of more complex things. And, the funding that you support them with will give them a career and give them a great start in terms of their life and their livelihood. And more importantly, it will help develop the country and move us from that kind of culture of dependency and waiting for somebody and hoping to get a job or whatever. Often you hear the national speakers, people speak on big issues. I've often heard them saying, when you send a graduate from Grenada to go on do their PhD wherever they go and they do it, and they come back to Grenada and they look into government to get a job. But when you send those Indian graduates to do their PhD, MBA, or whatever, when they come back, they're looking to start up 3, 4, 5, 6 businesses, and so it's a cultural shift that we need to kind of break and understand.
And that's the reason I advocate shock therapy.
Yeah.
You make some people know you're playing rich, but you look at your poor. You don't have money. Yeah, you're broke. You have 16, 17 years. Grenada have the most landowners in the region.
Yeah.
So a lot of children you see outside there, they have, the parents have land, or they have access to land. At a young age, you don't have money to buy land. So you don't need to buy land. What you need is access to land.
Yes.
You might lease a piece of land, or you ask your father to plant a crop in his land that is well cultivated.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's going to tell you you're crazy.
Yeah.
But let us suppose you say, you have 10 acres of land. So let me plant pineapple on the edge of the land. So it does not disturb your cocoa, your nutmeg. I'm going to plant pineapple on the edge of your land. And to make you worth a while, when you're picking cocoa, I go help you. So the father expect to get help, or you could say to him, because I'm going to plant pineapple on the edge of the land, I'm going to visit the land more regular. So thief won't come and thief you.
Yeah, and what we're looking at very practical.
How much pineapple you could plant in 5 acres of land on the edge?
Whoa, good one. I was just saying that one of the practical things I was thinking about, and I know we haven't created the infrastructure to really, make maximum use from it, is like mangoes. Often these days mangoes are neglected. Your parents might have land and it might have mango. You might eat a few and then the rest just fall down and rot. Mangoes is something that you can pick full. And there is a market for mangoes amongst the hotel and the tourist industry and the various fruit bowls and those kinds of stuff. You'll be amazed if you started making, fruit bowls with the mangoes you have on your land, spoiling how well it will sell. Because one of the things that the researchers have found is that some of the products that we have, we haven't really, processed it to make it easy for people to buy. So when you pick up the mango, you wash it, you clean it, you peel it, you cut it, and you put it in these nice little cubes, and you might get some other fruit to add to it. It's in a little bowl, whether it's a plastic or whatever. People buy it and they just start eating it. They like that kind of accessibility. But when you have to buy something and, you got to peel it and then you have to wash it with some lime and then you got to cut it up, that seems to put people off and then kind of make it harder to put the product in the supermarket. I think I remember some people talking about dashing. I'm not sure it's dashing. And you have to peel it and package it so that it's ready when people buy it. They just put it in the pot. All of those kinds of things. But certainly with the fruits, I think the children have an opportunity there. And I think the fruits that we have in Grenada, are wonderful fruits. I mean, I don't see enough sapodillas. I see them when they're small on the tree, and I don't see them again.
So we're going to name some businesses that parents could might prepare to fund, provide a capital for, if the children decide. And I believe between $100 and $2,500 is a good range to encourage your children to start business. You know, the parents provide the capital, and you can say, you have to pay me back my money. You may not get back the money. I'm going to only charge you 0.5% interest or 1% interest. So the confectionery industry, yes, the price of sugar is up, but your child in school could sell confectionaries on a weekend. And parents maybe start the child with $100 to bake some coconut bakes, you know, and sell that, or buns, or sweets, or any one of the confectionaries. And there is a wide range of confectionery that your child could start. Maybe they use a stove, but if the child doing well, you may have their own gadgets. You have crab farming. Now, you have a number of young, you may surprise to know, the number of children in primary school that are involved in hunting crab.
Yeah.
Because they're farming it. But the parents might take an interest in it and provide money for them to make traps. So instead of they have 5 traps, that child have 100 traps. Because what they do, they set the trap and they go and collect crab early morning. Some children, since 3 o'clock in the morning, they're up. You know. I'm talking about children in primary school. 9, 10 years, 8 years. They're hunting crab. And sometimes they contribute the income from the crab, they're able to take their shelf in school. So a parent, a family coming together and decide to provide $500 or $100 or $200 to help the child get bamboo to make trap. What's about manikou farming? You have people 17, 16 years that hunt manikou. But sometimes you go after manikou, they have season clothes, and they grow the young manikou. Now you have livestock. Well, you can't tell the child to mind a cow. All you're going to do is to harass people in the land, let go cow, and somebody like me going to relieve him of that burden. So, but you have sheep that you might provide $300 for your son to buy a sheep. And you say you have to pay me back that $300 in 5 years. So you have enough time. And if you buy a sheep for $300, you go drop just now. So your child could tie out the sheep. Sometimes you have to remind him and help him. But when it starts to have income from that, you want to recognize that. Now you have bamboo utensils. Most of the bars in Grenada should have a few glass made from bamboo. Calabash. The best to eat some pea soup, a coconut food, is in a calabash. I think one of the villages used to have bashalaka. Bashalaka. Well, calabash so hard to get now. When you go, it's like paper shalaka. But if people can get a calabash to buy, most houses would like to buy a calabash, particularly if a young person is selling it. You know? Then you have the good old flowers. We spoke about flowers already, and we can't stop speaking about flowers. Because I say to people, you hardly have a woman that grows flowers that is rambunctious and quarrelsome.
And cantankerous Cantankerous.
Cantankerous. Most women who have nice flowers garden, they're not rambunctious. They're not cantankerous. They're not quarrelsome. They tend to get more romantic. And the men who have women who grow plenty flowers, the men get nicer. And they stay home more. So that has almost therapeutic value. We mentioned pineapple. Because the Grenada have the most landowners in the region. Imagine your son or your daughter decide to grow pineapple in your land. Because normally they will plant the pineapple on the edge, on the river bank, on the bank of the drain. And a lot of our lands now is not as cultivated as it could be. And you have 5 acres of land, and your son or your daughter have a project that you fund the plants for them. How much would it cost to start a project with pineapple? Obviously, you may not want to give them much money. But you take a risk with 500. And by the time a year or two, pineapple may take about a year or two to mature. Depends on how you plant it. And one plant give you 6 plants. So your son could be selling plants to other people who is interested. We have to wake up.
Yeah.
Grenadians getting poor.
Yeah, but don't forget, Mr. Pierre, like the free-range eggs, you know.
Yes, yard fowls. You parents are buying eggs regular, and you invest in yard fowls. So that's one of you child project that you fund. So they get 100 hens or 12 or whatever.
Maybe they start with 10.
They start with 10 chicken hens, and they have it free ranging in your land.
Yeah.
The waste food from home is given to the birds to make them know they stay in the house. So it go easier to hold.
Yeah.
You may help them to make cage. You can use tire, containers, bamboo.
You
You could use local material.
Yes, you
The
can.
child more have to buy nail or maybe get somebody to help them.
Yeah.
So the cost to do that would be under $500.
Yeah. It's
And then the child sell the eggs to you.
yeah, it's little
Are you buying egg every day?
little to nothing, because the free range, the chickens are out. I mean, they come in the night and you put feed there so they know they're going to come and get feed, so they'll come and rest or sleep. And then in the daytime, they're just gone out, just as us. You know, we're gone to work here, there, or whatever.
We need to wake up in Grenada. We need to stop blame people. We blaming slavery. We blaming colonialism. We blaming, well, right now they're blaming Donald Trump. We blaming somebody. We need to look in the mirror, stop blame people, and come up with answers. In this program, we provoke discussion. And we are saying parents must encourage their children to enter business. The emphasis is on agriculture. But there are other ventures that some people we're not very knowledgeable about the computer, so we may not be aware of the wide ranges of business that could start from the computer. But we know that is the direction people still heading, but they must eat food. So we are concerned that the middle class in Grenada is shrinking. We have too much people pretending they have money and they're broke. And our children are not involved in business. So by the time the parents become incapacitated or old, the business pass on to other people. We have too much children waiting on inheritance and the parents not dying. Our health system has improved, so people living longer. So by the time you're dead, your child dead too. Child old. So we believe that definitely more have to be done.
Yeah, and we believe we have to have an environment that is supportive to an enterprise culture that we can create young business people, and we can develop our middle class and our country. Nobody's going to do it for us. Sometimes we've gotten into this drift where we often want, they call it the dependency culture or whatever, waiting for a handout. I don't really believe in that, because I think on the main, our people try their best with what they know. So I really think if we can put some emphasis in terms of developing young people, supporting them financially, I really think it's a good thing for the future.
Joshua, how do we convince one or two people that it is worth risking $100 to $2,000 on your child? Encourage them to start a business. We know it's high risk. We know some people go lose their money.
Yeah.
But how do we help to encourage them that it is worth taking the risk?
Well, I think programs like this, what we're doing, kind of raising the awareness, and also sharing some of the potential benefit that this kind of approach gives you, because essentially what we're trying to do is to make people self-sufficient in terms of moving away from that dependency culture of going to this company or going to that and trying to find a job, where people we have more self-employed people and earning money, and their potential is unlimited, because once you mature and you become a solid businessman, there's no reason why you have only one business. You could have 5 or 6 different businesses, and it's just what we do is raise the awareness, make people more aware, and encourage. If you have you want to develop your children, you have love for your children, and you want your children to succeed in life, some of the things that we are talking about, by implementing it, you move away from pure talk to practical ideas, and it's only going to be beneficial for your children's development. And don't get caught up if you try one thing and it didn't work. There's another thing waiting for you to try that may not work as well. But eventually there's something waiting for you that will work, will give you that kind of big bucks and income that you've been waiting for. But part of the journey sometimes is the failures prepare you for the eventual success that you're going to get. So don't be daunted.
Government is the biggest employer in Grenada. And governments continue to find themselves in trouble because they are the biggest employer. Now, the time has come for government policy should be to avoid government being the biggest employer. Some politicians feel empowered when they could fire you and etc. But if more people are involved in business, then they don't need the government to employ them. And this is a challenge we have, a free market. So we advance the view that Grenada is well poised for takeoff. But I think we have a mental problem, attitude problem, cultural problem. Too much of people who have resources They plan to live it, get a nice little bad children. But they would not die. And the children getting old like them. So it is better that we change the culture and invest in the child at early age.
Yeah.
So the money you believe you would have lost is less money than what you would have lived for them.
Mm-hmm. And I think the government can help as well with the creation of business centers with business advisors in the major towns that we have, certainly Grenville, Gore, St. George's.
Even government information service program, because none of the ventures that we name here would cost a young person more than $500, $2,000 to start. But I see some children with some phone.
Oh, yes.
We have a lot of rich children in Grenada with poor parents. The parents very poor. The children buy brand name clothes, but they're not working.
Yeah.
So if the parents early start to show the child that you could make money, if we invest, some people have some big, strong, hardback males in the house. You could come up with ideas. I will invest $2,000 in you, and you can plant X in my land. You may have to build some branca. But if you could sell 100 head of lettuce every week on the average,
yeah,
is 52 weeks in a year, and you're to school for 5 years. That is serious money.
Yeah, real serious money.
Now the same children, when they leave school, before they walk, they buy a car. That parents' money. Is that their parents' money or you thief some money somewhere? Where you get the money?
Yeah.
You don't start to work yet, you buy a car. You know? So if the parents is willing to support the children, then why not invest in a money-making venture?
Yeah.
That's all we're saying.
Yeah, and just roughly to add to your point, Mr. Pierre, you know, we're looking at about 13,000 a year in terms of 100 lettuce a week. I mean, that is good money. Some people, as you have said, that they leave Grenville and to go to town to do a security job, they could kind of stay home and make more money, and they go downtown and they make what, 1,000, 1,200.
Something have to wrong, our mentality. And I am saying, remember, we provoke discussion, and we believe it's shock therapy to change us.
You believe in shock.
I believe right. There are some things have to have shock therapy. Yeah. Because we are not lacking qualified persons. We have a number of people with master's degree, PhD, they have 2 doctorates, they speak in English more than Paul Schoon. And Paul Schoon could speak English. Why is it we are so lazy and reluctant to get involved in business venture? Remember, electricity, telephone, water, internet, we second to none in the region. We're better than most. We have the best network of roads. So you could go in Blaise and open a hairdressing salon, and somebody from St. David's in 40 minutes reach in Blaise after they do the work.
Yeah.
Because of the network of roads that we have. We have the most landowners. And that is important. Because a lot of our children, they don't have to buy land. They don't have money to buy land. What they need is access to buy land. A young man could ask his parents for $1,000 to buy a cow. He has time He could graze the animal.
Mm-hmm.
Or he could feed the animal every day.
Mm-hmm.
And beef is about $15 a pound.
Yep.
So after a year and a half,
Mm-hmm.
he have obtained a loan from his parents, and I'll give 1% interest.
Mm.
And after a year and a half, he sell the bull for 5,000.
Mm-hmm.
And he may pay back the parents 1,000. And he has $4,000 in there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, our children have a lot of time. We constantly applaud mediocrity. And then our children waiting for us to die.
Mm.
And we're not dying because the health system good.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
So we encourage, we hope the discussion would continue. Shouldn't families provide capital for their children to enter business?
And
you see, we use the word family.
Yeah, and we
talking
say
about
yes, yes. The finance should be provided, you know, and we should provide it now.
We always encourage you to share our program, subscribe to our program. We encourage you, let local content grow. Our program, Studio Galaxy, is a local content. Help it to grow, even if you don't like it. Support it. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Studio Galaxy in Confero, hope you know. 473 standing strong is yours, you know. The medium, an opportunity for you. Make your contribution.